And we're recording. How are you getting on, Stevo? Are you well? You're fucking looking well at this angle.
Hiding in my bunk beds in the spare room, yeah.
There you go. Looking well. So, man, it's been a fucking while since we had a chat.
It
And a
has,
lot's
it has.
happened. Lots fucking happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yourself and Ryan Tuberty had a great old chat. And
We
then you
did, we did.
decided to become a boxer. So,
Yeah, yeah. So I was on the Late Late Show. Yeah, that was a weird experience. Everyone messaging me, "Will you hit him?" And I was like, "Yes, I would like to, but I won't." So yeah, that wouldn't have looked well.
yeah. What was that like getting on the Late Late Show?
Just nerve-wracking, I suppose. Just doing it and talking. Like it'd be all right. Like it'd be all right to go on and do comedy. That'd be a walk in the park. When you're going on and talking about very personal things, then it's tough because you don't know how the audience are going to react, and you're getting feedback instantaneously through Twitter and messages and emails and everything. So I was
Yeah.
like, the last thing you want to do is come across as insincere or unapologetic, and that was the big. So I was sitting in a hotel room in Dublin, just having massive panic attacks, waiting for the feedback and seeing was I getting slaughtered or whatever, because you have no idea how you came across at the time.
Yeah. And unfortunately, with some of the stuff, you play a character very, very well, and people don't distinguish it as a character sometimes. So you're
Yeah,
gonna get like for you, you're gonna get shit anyway.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you genuinely had that.
Yeah, well, you're used to getting shit when people attack because you can separate it. There's a duality because the character is getting the shit.
Hmm.
Michael's the clown, the annoying one, or this fella does my head, or he should kill himself.
Hmm.
They're talking to Michael, not me. So when it's me then putting myself out there, then it'd be more hurtful, I think, and raw if they were attacking me personally. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? But lucky there was only a small few, but the vast majority were good. So
dude, it's
Arseholes.
fucking hilarious to see you go at them in the comments.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm scrolling on Twitter, and every now and then I'm like, oh, here's a juicy one.
yeah, you have to do it sometimes. You just like fuck you, you know what I mean. So and then people call it doxing, and I'm like, well, if you're going to go out and like be a complete and utter asshole, then you deserve everything that's going to happen to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, didn't you have something like I don't know, like people screamed at you calling you like a wanker or something? I know
Oh,
you put something
that
out like
happens.
that.
Wasn't that us?
Oh yeah,
It
that
probably
was no.
yeah.
Dude, that's rough because like you're a fucking funny comedian. There's fucking good stuff for charity at the moment. Like you're hardly there's worse lads.
But you're still a wanker. Like it doesn't matter about
Oh yeah,
it doesn't matter if Jamie's in the car with me, they'd still do it. They're just
yeah,
like, they wouldn't do it when my other brother's in the car because they'd be sorry. But you know what I mean? They're just, I don't know, they're idiots. You know what I mean? There's not much you can do about them people.
yeah. But you're in fighting form for him anyway. What's that
Yeah,
been
I'm
like?
great. Jesus, yeah. I kind of, as usual, a kind of off the cuff idea turned into a bit of messing with Paddy Barnes for a bit of like sparring, and then it turned into a charity thing. And now I have to fight him, and Conor McGregor's seemingly wanting to get involved. And yeah, so it's like, oh shit, I have to do it now. You know what I mean? It's on.
Mm. Yeah, I mean Conor McGregor could do with the publicity in terms of doing good stuff if he did a bit of charity work. Um,
Yeah,
but he was a big donator for that thing, wasn't
yeah. He donated 10 grand, so that was mental. Like so.
Wow.
he? Yeah.
So it's a
Said,
side you don't see,
said
isn't it? Because
he said he'd go co-main fighting Al Foran with his terrible impressions of him. So then he was resharing and retweeting a lot of the stuff. So it was like, it's on. Then he broke his leg, and then we didn't know what's happening. And then his coach John Kavanagh done an interview with some MMA reporter in America, and just after he broke the leg and they were back speaking with the doctor, he was talking about the wheelchair fight and saying, "Sure, I'll do it in a wheelchair now." So we don't know if he is going to, if he is, so it's
Yeah.
going up in the air.
I'd say he's a hard lad to nail down.
Oh yeah, nearly impossible. I've never actually talked to him. Well, I've talked to him in person. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, look, Jesus, for the sake of the charity and all that, and the crack, I hope to God he gets there and he does
Oh
a bit of
yeah,
sparring.
because it'd make it because the press follows and then donations follow. So at the end of the day, it's about raising as much as we possibly can, and and hopefully, if he does come and the big names we've had, we might turn it into an annual thing.
Yeah, definitely. Fuck yeah. And what kind of money's been raised so far?
about 33 grand, I think.
That's no small number.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
No,
it's just a
that's
bit
crazy.
disappointing because there was such a lull in it. It was like up, and then stopped, plateaued. So it's trying to get it now in the next 6 weeks to get it out there and afraid to get it people interested in it again.
I suppose you just have to keep pushing it. You need
Yeah.
someone big to just give it a touch again.
Yeah, and you have
Yeah.
to annoy people left, right, and center, and just
Yeah.
keep tweeting them. Here, would you retweet this? It's the only way.
There you go, man. Challenge Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Go on. See what happens.
touch and grope, touch and grope.
So when's it exactly on? What's the date set for it?
September the 11th.
September 11th,
A fine date.
Yeah.
Good date.
I was gonna say that's a rough one.
And
Yeah,
is
well, it
it,
was August 28th, and then one of the contenders wasn't available, so we had to. The only day at the hotel had then was September the 11th, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds tasty, actually."
Yeah. And how's it been like preparing for it? Because I seen it before and after picture, and you look like you put on a fair bit of muscle.
Yeah, I'm getting there slowly but surely. I had a urinary tract infection there about 2 weeks ago, which lasted about 3-4 weeks. So that put a big dampener on it. Like, I was very sick and nauseous, so I couldn't really train properly. So I was losing out in the gym and training 1-to-1. So that was a bit of a bollocks. But I'm back now, and we're getting going again. So
And like Paddy's like a legit fighter, so that makes it even
Oh,
more
yeah.
like worrying.
yeah,
'Cause-
yeah. The nearer it gets to it, I'm actually more worried. Like, because he said, like, I'm going straight into it. Like, I'm not holding back. So I'm like, oh shit, like.
I love the accent.
But like I said before, like, if he wins, I win. If he beats the living dead, I win. If I win, I win. So it's win-win, really. You know what I mean? He's going to like be known for the fella that half killed a man in a wheelchair. Be known as the fella that bet a double Olympic champion. So we'll see.
I was thinking about how it was gonna work, because I know like when you're sitting in a wheelchair and you have these big massive gloves, you can hardly move it. But if they
No,
just
you
plonk
don't
you
move.
right beside each other, it's just like who knocks you the other one over first. Like
Yeah, it's basically rock'em sock'em. Like, it's knees to knees, brakes on. It's probably more difficult in normal. I hate that regular boxing, in that you can't run away, you can't run to the corner, you can't.
you can
You're
maneuver
stuck.
in normal boxing. In this, you're
Yeah.
kind of like,
You're stuck there. Yeah,
don't die, don't die.
yeah. The only thing you can do is lean back a bit and try and
Yeah.
dodge the punch. That's about it. So yeah, it's
That's-
fairly full on.
I'd be surprised if it made it into a second round, to be honest, without one of you dying
Dying,
beforehand.
yeah.
I know,
like-
yeah. And there's 3 rounds then.
3 rounds, is it 2 minutes
Yeah.
or 3 minutes?
3 rounds of 1 minute.
3 rounds of 1 minute.
Fair.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause, like wheelchair, like basketball or so on, there's a lot of moving. In this, like,
yeah.
I feel a bit rough because the big massive glove on you, like, there's nowhere to go, nowhere to go.
I know. I'm basically like victimizing myself by just sitting in there in front of him in the first place. I'm just like, kill me, please.
And if you don't mind me asking, what does Roxy think of the idea of you just plonking yourself in front of an Olympic boxer? And
She
Going
thinks
at
I'm
it.
mad, like, but she's fully supportive because she knows
That's
how
good.
much of a stubborn bollocks I can be. So
she knows you're about the crack.
yeah, as long as I don't damage my beautiful, beautiful face, my Brad Pitt like looks,
There you
she'll
go.
be happy then. Like, she's
Yeah.
probably hoping he'll like demolish my face so it'll come back looking somewhat human.
There you go. There you go.
Cheap surgery.
It reminds me of that fucking handsome Squidward meme. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And well, when this is over, like you said, you want to do it like annual. So do you have an idea of
Yeah.
like when this is over? Do you want to call someone out if you win, or blah blah blah?
I'm not really sure. I haven't thought that much ahead. I've just been thinking like if it's a success and if a certain person drops down on the night and it gets the requisite headlines, like I might do it annually and get like bigger names and kind of, more of a, well, kind of what it is really, but more of a kind of a getting like, I hate the phrase content creators and things and people that have had a bit of beef before to get in the ring for charity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's
Fair
hard to
enough.
get them too. I had a few that contacted me and were interested and then like, oh no, we'll be doing something that week or doing something that day. And you're like, but you got in touch with me. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So or they won't reply. They've got in touch with you asking that, telling you they'd love to be involved. And then you're like, yeah, cool. What did you have in mind? Nothing. They're like, well, why get in touch with me then? It's just annoying. It's just annoying. But I think it's more of the interest because, like, Conor McGregor will be there, so now we're interested.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, you know. If you said to someone, "Yeah, Conor McGregor's gonna be there," the interest might peak something mighty, and if you
Yeah,
just said,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, I'm fighting," former Olympian, it's gonna be for charity, the interest might not be there. It's
Yeah,
a
it
bit
just
of a weird
shows
one.
it shows the selfishness
Mm.
of taking part is solely to massage their own egos. If they wouldn't do it for charity's sake. They'll do it if loads of famous people are there.
Have you seen that like
and
firsthand?
you don't want them people anyway. Do you really
Yeah.
want them people there? They're the type of people that run over to McGregor trying to get a video with him and stuff like that. Even though I try and do that too, but like I'm fucking organising it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To be fair, I would too. I had this whole thing of like, as much as people hate people like Ben Shapiro or Alex Jones, if you've seen him like at a grocery store or something, a lot of people would try to get a picture with him or a picture of him.
Yeah, just for the sake of it, and it's playing the game, like it's playing the fame game. Like I'm sure, like Conor McGregor is not a massive fan of the music of Justin Bieber.
Oh, but they were together fairly recently.
Yeah, and he was at a show and stuff, and like every time someone big comes to the Three Arena, he's there in the green room, like So even he plays the fame game.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely.
I suppose he's conquered that game, man. He's fucking massive. He's a household name, especially for something like UFC, because there's not many times where you're like, oh yeah, looking up to a lad who beats the head off someone. It's hard to look up to him at the moment. But you know yourself.
To come through a sport that wasn't really that big, like, and to overcome in notoriety and fame some of the biggest, like, especially in the States as well, some of the biggest basketball and baseball players. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's his mouth that got him there. Like, it's his mouth that got him there. It's just,
But he could back it up. Like, the way he demolished Jose Aldo.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. But like, there's a lot of fighters that would be as capable of him, but they don't have the mouth and they don't have the. People will watch just to watch because it's McGregor. They're dying to see what will happen. Not necessarily. It's like it's the whole thing. It's the car crash TV. They'll watch him if they hate him. They'll watch him if they like him. They're still watching, and that's the important thing. They're still buying tickets.
Yeah.
The thing with you as well. So a lot of people, be watching your fights, to see you knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
See you, win, but like.
And I won't let them down.
Dude, could you imagine like a couple of years down the line, Paddy gets back into it or something, and it's like his highlight reel or something, and it's just like the other way around. That'd be fucking funny.
I killed your man on the way chair and you're Galway, like. He's such a strong accent though. Like even people like from Belfast say, "Oh, Jesus Christ, you can't understand Paddy." But he probably listens to me and he's like, "What the fuck is that fella saying?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know a few lads from Donegal who are exactly that. Like it almost sounds like they're singing in a foreign language when they speak.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
Weird.
And have you spoken much to Paddy, or are you kind of just like?
Just on and off, like, just on and off, just kind of the odd like call here and there, and you see, you really need subtitles going across on the bottom of the screen if you're talking to them, and
fair enough. Yeah.
We just the most contact we have is just riling each other on Twitter, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good way to be.
Yeah, and obviously it's all part of the game. You know what I mean? And I rile Paddy up by like, I'll post me getting the vaccination picture every now and again, just going like, "Here's for Paddy." I got this for Paddy.
Fair enough.
He's not a big fan of the vaccinations or any of that stuff.
Oh, is he not? All right.
No.
It's been so weird, like people we've had on the show before, like just finding out like how against that stuff they are, or like people I would have looked up to when I was a bit younger, like, and then I finally get to chat to them when they're big anti-vax heads. Like, for fuck's sake, man, it hurts. It hurts to see.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many Irish influencers, are actually that way. Like,
oh, I know. Like, you're used to like obviously Gemma and D Wall and Angie Ray and fucking all them, but then when people kind of, I suppose, more normal go down that route, you're kind of like, oh man, you know what I mean? Just stop.
Give it up, like, yeah.
I love writing them though. I love it. Like, I don't know, it keeps me occupied when you're not doing gigs. You know what I mean?
Taking the piss out of anti-vaxxers. Sounds like
Yeah.
fun.
I'm looking forward to when you do gigs again. That should be good crack.
Yeah, well, it'll be 2022, I suppose. I think we
Yeah.
start in Derry like in January 22. So
Was
I've never been to one now, but I'm looking forward to going to the first one. It'll be good crack.
it's just manic,
Yeah.
manic.
Carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is there going to be an audience at your fight, or are you allowed people in?
I think we're allowed up to 100 so far. We're like the whole 700. We want to fill it, but we don't know. We don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, no,
might be able
it's
to.
weird.
We'll probably be able to sell like fully vaccinated only tickets.
Yeah.
Like now, see, even saying that, you understand why people go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. You know what I mean? Because even just say something like that. If this was 2 years ago, to say fully vaccinated only tickets, you can see why people go down that kind of mode of thinking. But
Yeah, I don't like that idea, but it's reality we're living in. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's a necessity of our times. Like,
but yeah,
what can you do?
it's one of those things like you hear it, you're like, come on. I'm waiting for my
Yeah.
second jab. I'll be fucking there.
I'm
love to be
fully
there.
jabbed. I'm fully jabbed.
Same
Yeah.
here.
The
Fully.
vaccine, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you said you had a bit of a bad reaction, did you? You had with the first one and the second one.
The first one I was reading a guy that had a very bad reaction. It was in the Star or something, and I was like, that's what I had, but mine was worse, really. I had to hold my jaw open with my hands because my teeth were banging so violently against each other, and I was having spasms, nausea, like dry retching, as we saying all about the gawks. And migraine, and like it was horrible. It was literally hard. Like at about 8 hours into it, I was like, I really contemplated ringing the ambulance, but I managed to fall asleep for like an hour and a half. So it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Jesus.
So is that like a lockjaw thing, or were you shivering?
Shivering, violently shivering. So my teeth kept banging. So I literally had to just keep my thumb on my finger just from stopping it happening. Like, and the pain as well in my jaws from just everything tense. Like,
that's rough, dude. That's rough.
But the second one, then nothing. And I was expecting something. I was like, you're almost like psychosomatic, like giving yourself issues. Jesus, is that a headache now coming? You know what I mean? So, but I was grand.
First one ended up being all right. Waiting for the second one now, but the girlfriend got the first one. She was fine. Got the second one, and then she was in absolute bits. Like she was just like a fever. She's waking up in the middle of the night in agony. Like mom got the first one. She had a big like red patch in her arm that kept getting bigger. She had to go like to the doctor, whatever. And then like everyone else I know was like fine, but like it's just two people close to me getting this weird reactions. You'd be worried.
Yeah, why didn't other people away from me get the reaction so I wouldn't have to do that?
So you wouldn't have to care, like, you know?
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, but like anti-vaccine, that shit, and like side effects, everything has side effects, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a leg to stand on for anyone who's thinking anti-vax stuff.
But
like
it
just
they attack that stuff and they come for it, and
they get the very fact that they like drastically changed the age group that certain vaccines could be given because of blood clots in 1 in a million people shows how fucking over the top careful they were being. You know what I mean? And if it was a vast conspiracy, why did they release that information? Why? If they can hide all the other information,
it was to trick you, to make you believe in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know what I mean. If they can hide all this information about this going on and this going on and this going on and this going on, but they can't hide the flu blood clots. You know what I mean? It crumbles under the weight of that alone.
When I had the 3 Books Left lads on for a good old chat, they were saying like they did some videos on TikTok or on Facebook, whatever they'd post them wherever, and it was like saying that he thought like, what was it, like the vaccine pass proposal was a bit silly because people could work in there and blah blah blah. And he said he started getting all these like anti-vax people flooding him. Fair play to Cowboy now. He's after getting 2 of them. He's gonna have 2 of them on the show. He's gonna debate them. He's a fucking mad guy because he never answers his comments, but then he's just like, you know what, shut the fuck up. You know what, get on. We'll have a chat.
Yeah. Fair fucks them. Yeah, I think if they find a sympathetic ear, they will jump on you.
Yeah, that happens with all conspiracy stuff, man. It's rough.
Yeah.
You ever have that with some of your stuff? Because you know, Farmer Michael might say some dodgy stuff.
Yeah. Like for a while there, I had a lot of American like what we call them, like conservative pro-white people. Oh, he's saying it how it really is, and you're like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, go and die. You know what I mean? And then I done one about conspiracies that are about vaccines then and stuff, and like I think people got the wrong idea of that as well. So I was like, oh God, I'm not coming down here. So then, like, I was going flying it on TikTok. Then I had nearly 100,000 followers, and then I done a video giving out about Israel, and then my TikTok was mysteriously vanished. So, and all I said in the video is that all Palestinians are terrorists, and the children and women don't exist. It's men in costumes, and it's not stones. They throw small nuclear bombs at the poor Israelis. So yeah, that can go down well.
I
really sticking it to the man.
On a darker topic on that one, I was fucking just chilling last night looking at Sky News and the boys. I was seeing like there's a lot of stuff going on genuine there with Israel and all, but there's like, what was it? Anti-Semitic crime in the UK was like some of the highest it's been in decades.
Yeah.
Which is rough.
Yeah.
You'd wonder where that's coming from. Like, is that like?
Well, it's become normalized and acceptable now again, with a lot of things, like, you know, and you have to point at the likes of the rise of the far right in Europe and in America, obviously, clearly, in the last couple of years, with a certain man in the White House who normalized that kind of speech and almost allowed it legitimacy by calling like fine gentlemen on both sides and things like that. You know what I mean? As Dara Breen said before, you do not need the voice from the opposition on certain things. Like he said, if you have a dentist on a talk show, you don't need a fucking toothologist who believes fairies come in the night and, you know, cavity. Sometimes you don't need an opposing voice. Like if I went on and said, like, you know, I believe that black people are substandard in intelligence, you know, to counter an anthropologist, you don't need to hear my point of view. I'm an asshole that should be just fucked away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for a lot of things you want to hear both sides, but, you know, stuff like that, you're like, give it up.
Yeah, there's a moral side and there's being a wanker.
That's how I feel about Flat Earth. I fucking hate those guys.
Who?
Flat Earth.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
We had one lad on, and we till to this day. Oh my God, man.
We still get shit from those lads.
But a lot of those belief systems, they become almost religiously encoded. So there is no shattering it. There is no removing it, because it's the need to want to believe, as opposed to the belief.
Do you know they have it just kind of tells you about the people in the Flat Earth. They have their own like boat society, the Flat Earth Boat Club.
No.
It's like
the guy who got on
club, isn't it?
He was kind of playing off, you know, poor man's flat earther, and then he has a flat earth millionaire yacht club.
That's it. Yeah, it just tells you the kind of
like how fucking absurd was that?
Yeah.
Facebook loving American patriot kind of these people are.
Whatever,
you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's a big distrust in professionals as well, and distrust in science in general. You know what I mean? And a lot of Dunning-Kruger going on, and you know what I mean? That, you know, that I can read one article in a newspaper and be more intelligent than someone who's researched something for 40 years. It just shows how, and it's the whole semantic memory of Google as well. Like, you know, you'd ask someone, do you know about that? And they go, yeah, but they don't know about it. They know that they can access the information in milliseconds, but they don't actually know.
That's one thing I don't like about anti-vax whole argument is that this vaccine was so quick to make, and that, you know, they spent, you know, decades making the polio, and they didn't have fucking anything back then. They still used to pipette with their mouth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And
in fairness, it was pretty rushed. In comparison, that is factual.
But the amount of grants and money they were given because of that, because we were in the middle
the entire
of a
world
pandemic
funding it, like.
Yeah. And we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, but like
the argument is like the long term effects aren't known, which is fair, because how long, like, what's the longest someone's had one of these?
Yeah.
But like, is that like the stand on, like, were there long term effects on other vaccines? None that I know of.
Yeah.
Not an expert, but like nobody here like, oh, man gets blank and then grows third leg.
There was a few. There was an narcolepsy with one there a couple of years back, but I forget what, but there was like legitimate cases of like narcolepsy, like symptoms and stuff. So there has been, obviously, yeah. But like, you always have to think of the greater good,
Yeah.
and that's the end of it, really.
Like you want everyone to get it so we can go and see you fight. Like that's just it.
Yeah. Well,
Spot
that's
on.
why they rushed the vaccines. They're like, oh, Steve was fighting, and let's get it
That's
done.
it.
So yeah.
The whole thing,
Yeah.
man. Whole shebang. What you said it's a charity. What charity is it that you guys are doing it for?
Irish Wheelchair Association.
Ah, yeah.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know
Appropriately
that.
enough.
Yeah.
You sicken me. Your
sorry.
lack of knowledge
I'm really
disgusts me.
Yeah.
No, you know, I did know, and I just had to ask though. So
I know
on
you
the
get it out
podcast
there.
on record.
That sneaky. It's like in a movie. I love watching those like sciencey based movies where they're like, basically the lead character will become the narrator. So you'd be like, see, if we move this into this, then this will allow this, and it's so like opaque and just obvious, and you're almost cringing for the movie writers, script writers.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Not criticizing you, I'm criticizing the movie.
No, I was trying to think of a movie there that like did that, but blank.
All of them.
All of them, the whole 9 yards. Quentin Tarantino, we're after you, man. Yeah. So we got the boxing going on.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the gigs to get going.
Yeah.
What else is on the radar? What you ask?
Nothing much really. Just keeping my head down, I suppose, the training. I'm like doing the odd sketch, but you're kind of like, it's just focused on the fight really, and focused on doing my best, I suppose. And it's become like, as you know, when you immerse yourself in something like this and you're doing it yourself, it becomes a full-time job in itself.
Yeah.
So that's my job now until September. And God knows how I'm manically depressed I'm going to be after, like 20 minutes after the fight. Life goes back to normal. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
How many times do you train in a week?
I'm only getting back into it now, so we're hoping to like three times a week, and then every Saturday I'm going to go up to like a well-known trainer in Dublin or whatever. So I was with like Katie Taylor's dad, I was with John Redmond, I was with Crumlin Boxing Club with Conor McGregor's boxing coach, and then hopefully in a week or two I'll be up in SBG with John Kavanagh. So that'll be amazing.
Yeah, that'll be an experience. You better fucking film the fuck out of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're filming yourself going to the jacks, man. Fucking everything. Walking in the door, walking out the door.
It's all there for posterity and looking back on my life in future times, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Here's me going for a shit when I used to be able to shit before I had the bag. When I'm 85 looking back at it.
The Paddy bag. Yeah.
After Paddy Barnes demolished me.
Yeah. Do you think you can beat him?
Yeah.
You think you're gonna beat him?
Don't know.
Like, where's that idea coming from? Like, are you confident in your training, your ability? You think you're gonna be like better prepared than he is? Think he underestimates you?
I have a nasty right hook. I have a nasty right hook. And I was fighting what's his name? Tyrone McCullough in Pete Taylor's gym. And he's roughly the size of Paddy and roughly the same weight. And well, he'd be a bit lighter because Paddy's piling on the pounds. But he was sitting in a chair with his legs to the side, which gave him more grounding and like solidness. And we had a good old go. So when Paddy's in the chair, it's going to be a different situation. And he's not used to the chair either, whereas I would be.
Yeah. Especially in the home turf.
Awkwardness, 1920s fucking style wheelchair. You know, the old ones that had the small wheels on the back, FDR style.
Yeah.
Get them on the barrel. A wicker basket type wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah. There's you with your fucking like stabilizing gyros in it, and yours like, yeah.
And look, if all else fails, I'll have a knife down the back of the wheelchair. So.
There you go, man. That's it.
Yeah.
When the brass knuckles aren't doing the job.
Imagine live stream and I slice them like.
Yeah, that wouldn't go down in Irish TV as being like a brilliant moment.
No.
Is it going to be on Irish TV?
We don't know yet. We'll be live. So we have a company in Dublin that are doing all the synchronized live streams. So it'll be live through all my live options like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all that. So we're still ironing out the finer details and that, and like trying to get the schedule perfect and who will come in at what time and which camera we'll cut to and all that. So, and video clips to fill in awkward radio silence spots. So yeah, we're hoping it will go off without a hitch, but there's always hitches, and we just have to hope that we don't lose sound and vision, and that's the most important thing.
I know you're raising money beforehand, but like when it's happening, is it like a pay-per-view kind of deal, or what's going on?
No, it's just open. It's guilt trip. Anyone can watch it, because the way we've seen it is if we charge pay-per-view, people mightn't pay for it and just might not watch it. Whereas if it's open, they can just watch it and they might feel guilty, and the MC will obviously saying, look, donate if you're watching and things like that. So that's the thing.
Dude, it would be pretty interesting if people were like challenged to like donate if blank wins, like.
Oh, I'll get Paddy Barnes, myself, Paddy Barnes, a few of the lads. We'll call to people's houses if they don't donate.
Yeah, fair about you. Yeah, Tyson Fury's gonna be sitting at home having a good old chat with his wife, an old drink, and then suddenly comes you kicking through the door.
Yeah. Come out, you big, long, weird, misshapen yoke.
Dude, he's built different for a boxer, in fairness.
But that's why he's so good. He has no form, shape, or style, so it's hard to counter him. You know what I mean? And it's just
a different breed.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it. It's a shame it was cancelled because of COVID, but I'm really looking forward to the third fight. We're even thinking about going over to see Joshua and Usyk.
See, he'd be a man now for the next one if we were doing one next year.
Fury.
Yeah.
What, you versus Fury?
No, not me, but to get him involved.
Jesus, man, I thought you were thinking.
Dude, I was like, you could take on Paddy, but holy shit.
Jesus. I'm not suicidal, like.
No,
but another one in the future, and like you always have to have big goals, and you always have to be willing to play these people. So like Joe Rogan and everything to commentate, like go full out.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, we're hoping to get John Kavanagh as well to be a guest judge as well, which would be great.
Dude, you could not get Joe Rogan for fucking any amount of money. That guy does fucking nothing. Like he picks the UFC fights he wants to commentate, and then he does a podcast.
Just don't underestimate me.
Yeah.
There's ways and means, and look, you get to certain people through other means and stuff, and it's always possible. Like in The Godfather, anyone can be got. They meant in a homicidal way, but I mean in a
in a not homicidal way.
No, yeah.
For legal reasons.
If he denies it, though, then we might have to go down to that route. Yeah.
No, it'd be interesting who you get. In fairness, who's doing a commentary for it?
Owen Colgan, the Hard Chats and Hard Hats lads. Jamie J. Kerr.
Fair play to Jamie.
Yeah, there's someone else, but I can't think. Yeah, Jay Byrne. He's a boxer from Dublin as well.
And then we have Jamie was doing that, or Owen. Fucking fair play to the lads.
I don't want to.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have Ricky Wright. He's a actual ring announcer from Wales. He's coming over to do the announcing. And then I'm just ironing out the final details to have an actual MC that can run the show, basically, and be introducing all these people. And we go, now over to Ricky Wright, and now over to Owen, and now over to blah, blah, blah.
That's going to be cool.
He'll have to be on his game. Everything's with the MC, because the cameras are going to follow what he's doing and who he's pointing to, and, so everything is up to him to keep time. So he is the main job, really. I just have to shit myself in the green room and wait to die.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen.
A lot of people do.
Fuck him, honest to God. I said this a couple of days ago with someone on, and I brought up like that there was a comedian I knew, it was you, like I was saying, like he just gets fucking shtick off everyone, but he's like one of the soundest lads to talk to. Like
shucks.
No, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. The fucking shit you get, like it's really weird to see.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just like I said before. Maybe it's just a testament to the strength of the character that they actually think I'm a complete and utter ignoramus, gobshite, horrible person.
I was on set for something, and I was talking about you to lads, and they did not know that was a character.
Yeah, I know. It's depressing sometimes.
Yeah.
It actually is like
Yeah.
when people come over to the car and I don't talk like that, and they're like, they almost like
What the
they
fuck?
look like they want to hit me. Like, you
Yeah.
have been an eye in my life, you know.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
definitely start doing something at the end of your videos or start of them. Just a big warning: I am not Farmer Michael.
Yeah.
Like,
Hi.
Takes
I'm
away the
Steve.
magic.
Yeah. So yeah, that's half a reason why it went like hugely viral at the start, because people weren't sure. They thought it was an actual, idiot.
A mad lad.
Yeah, well, I'm an idiot in some ways, but not to the extent Michael is. But Michael's smart enough. Like, after a while of watching him, you realise what he's at, and you realise how he kind of drops in those little pieces under his breath about basically political correctness and going down the kind of. He is very woke, but you have to watch him for a while to see it.
Oh, well, I wouldn't think he's woke, but fair play to him. Man, what was that one? And it was just on the fucking like bleeding edge. I thought it was fucking hilarious. You had like,
because he's British.
yeah, because he's English.
Because English.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the first time I seen that, I fucking sent it into friends. I think it was you, Thomas, and I was like, holy fucking shit, how was this up? You know, like,
Well,
it's just
I
so
love the
close.
fact that you suck out the racists.
Yeah,
You literally, if anyone's watching that in the crowd, you can spot the fucking racists. So I like the fact that I was able to suck them out and then go, because he's fucking English, and then close it down. Because everyone was expecting and waiting and wanting me to say I don't like him because he's black. And like, no.
I say you
So a
still
bit of
got a few cheers
misdirection.
for the English one.
Yeah. I got a bit of criticism of it as well, because people were on, well, that is racist then. I was like, yeah, in a way, but it's playing on the old stereotype of the Irish hate the English. Just shut your mouth.
Yeah, it's different, in fairness.
Yeah, that's a traditional hatred and racism. That's a well-deserved racism.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
That was
Says Thomas the Englishman.
Will you shut up with that shit, man?
Where were you born?
I was.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Funny.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I wonder, do you get a lot of criticism off English people?
Me?
But then like praise from like Scottish or Welsh.
The vast majority of my audience would be UK, like.
Really?
UK, America, then Ireland. So that I'm kind of happy with that, because it always used to be Ireland, UK, America, and now it's the opposite around. So like, you'd rather be a small fish in a big pond, you know what I mean? So
yeah, we got something similar. Like, it's roughly like, it varies, like, depending. It changes, like, if you view when the Hardy Book's on the same month, it's going to change drastically. But normally it's like maybe 14% of our audience would be like Ireland, and then like a huge, like, it could be between 25 up to like 45% is American. It's kind of weird.
But don't get screwed either by those figures either, because there could be 500,000 of them who identify as nationalists up the north who would be UK viewers. So
there you go. Yeah, it's kind of weird to do like your Irish humor, but then you're making it for people outside of Ireland. Like, would they get it?
Yeah. Well, people said at the start, like, there's not a chance. People said at the start they wouldn't even leave Galway or Mayo. So, you're like upsetting the apple cart, I suppose,
Here you are now, man. Fucking awfully. No.
Go on, Tullamore.
Hey, Tullamore Jew.
Tullamore, hey, no anti-Semitism on this podcast.
Yeah, but what's that been like for you? We've kind of touched on that before, like, going from, I'm gonna post a funny video on Facebook to, okay, we got like Conor McGregor and like actual fighters like helping me promote a fight I'm doing with a former Olympian. That's a big jump.
Yeah, it's my phone rang there. Yeah, right as you were speaking. So if you could just finish the last bit of that last sentence.
So like, what's it been like going from making a funny video to, like, you're fighting a former Olympian and you have a bunch of celebrities backing it?
Yeah, it's weird because, like, if I was in this position 6 years ago, I'd be jumping around in glee, but you become accustomed and it becomes normal. So when you're talking to like celebrities, I hate the term anyway, just people that are known on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, it becomes so normalized to you. And it should never really, but it does, because you become used to it. So like I suppose I wouldn't have raised that amount and it wouldn't be that big without knowing a few people and without having a bit of an audience myself. You know what I mean? So it's nice to be able to use that and use it in a positive way
Fair enough.
and not shouting at people.
Yeah, because it's a major jump, and it relatively happened pretty fast. No, it's just fucking interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
Yeah,
I still look back at the early days of the videos and like remember like businesses getting in touch with me and asking me what I do with show or pubs, and I was like, not a chance. And like local companies, oh, I like your fashion, we'll offer you a blazer if you're wearing it in a video and things like that. And I was like, oh my god, I'm officially like professional comedian. You were so happy with it, you know what I mean? You were
yeah.
so over the moon. And
And then Supermax happened.
yeah. Never forget.
Mm.
That's a fucking funny story.
The feud continues.
Yeah.
Miserable bollockses.
Not a sponsor for the fight then.
No,
No.
yeah.
They'd be too busy sponsoring the GAA only if they get back what they put in tenfold.
Yeah.
So it's not they don't sponsor really. They invest.
Mm.
Yeah. Such as businessman. That fucking happens all the time.
Yeah.
Are there many sponsors for the fight, or is it just charity thing?
Just iron out the finer details now. I've had a few different, like we're looking for an overall sponsor. But obviously we put a fair cost on that. Not in a business term, $5,000. It's nothing to, Jesus, some people just donate $5,000 off the cuff. You know what I mean? So hopefully some business will come along and we have different options available. So we're trying to, like if we could match what we've raised through personal donations with the corporate side of it, we'd be delighted. Like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And on the night anyway, that's going to be the major donation getter, you know, so.
Yeah, that should be good. That should be really good. Yeah. Oh, it's fucking deadly.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it, man. Seriously.
What in terms of like Irish celebrities and so on? How's that been looking? Because you know we've seen the likes of Conor McGregor, but I know you were training under Katie Taylor's dad. Did herself get involved in any way?
No. I've been trying to get her to retweet the odd thing, but there's just nothing. You know what I mean? And you don't know who to contact to get in contact with her, because people like that, you don't just contact them. You need to know someone and know someone and know someone. Like there's no email address for them. It's not like in the States or even the biggest celebrities. There's an email address or a number to contact them to get a gig. You know what I mean? Biggest rap stars, they have a price list.
Yeah.
Here's what I charge for a fucking thing on a track, $750,000. Email this number or email this address. You know what I mean? We don't have that in Ireland. They're very much inaccessible.
I've been trying very hard to get Katie on this podcast, and I cannot find anything for her. You're right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's very hard. Like
I've had more success with extremely successful US boxers than I have with, Katie Taylor from.
Yeah, we'll have a chat about that after. We're not going to spoil that.
Yeah,
but Stevo's not the only boxer we're having on.
Two Irish lads, you know what I mean? You know, we should always give to our own first.
Do you know what? You're dead right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one in Ireland. Like we're to be big in Ireland, but then even if you go like to Northern Ireland, like does anyone know who they are?
Yeah, it's like when we were doing gigs all across the UK, and you'd ask anyone about Tommy Tiernan, and they'd be there. No idea who you're on about. You know what I mean? Because they'd be asking who's the biggest comedian in Ireland, and they just wouldn't have heard of him.
That's mad.
And like I said, I'd still rather be a small fish in a big pond. I'd rather be a big fish in a big pond too, but we'll work at that.
Yeah. So you said before last time you were on, like the plan is Ireland, then the UK, then the States. That's still the plan?
Yeah, I'd love to go to the States, and I'm working kind of in the background as well, scribbling down a few bits to do to do stand up as myself. You know what I mean? And as me, and do it basically an introspective piece about this whole thing and going viral and the character, and but in a funny and humorous way.
You have an Irish accent, you're a comedian in the States, they will fucking maul you. They will eat you up. And
especially if they don't consider you PC.
They're very.
Americans, you can do a very unpolitically correct video while trashing them, and they still laugh at it and think he's saying what we all think. Like I done the one about slavery and all the Americans. Yeah, he's damn right. The blacks are treated great over here. They could be in Africa. And I was like, I'm just ripping you apart here, and you didn't even spot it in the video.
Yeah.
Satire does not exist in their world.
Of course,
It's
it
a
does
weird
not.
one.
I went over there, and I'm a very sarcasm, very dry humor kind of guy. It just went over their head every single time. Like they can't pick up on it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the story as well? When you said, "What's the crack to a lad?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, hold on now."
We're at Universal, and my mate goes up to this lad who's selling key rings. He goes, "Well, man, what's the crack with you there?" And he goes, "No, we don't do that here."
That's worrying being from Offaly. Like that's how you say hi to everyone.
Yeah. So I do that all the time. But Americans are so insular. Even like, simple thing like they'll say like, oh, he spoke with an accent instead of saying he's from Brazil or he's from France. He spoke with an accent, as if they don't, because they're so insular. They don't get, and it's only recently that they started getting any input from the whole of Latin America.
I think it's that there's like fucking 50 states, and they're all like their own countries, and they're bigger than Europe. We're super diverse, but they're like more. They're more homogenous, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It
makes me weep for the Native American cultures we've lost and how different they were to each other. We just write them off as, oh, Native Americans, wigwams, buffalo. And like, they were as different, some of them tribes in different languages, as Siberians are to Aran Islanders. You know what I mean? In language and culture. And like how many stories are lost to time and gone. And like, imagine if there was, if Europeans introduced themselves slowly to that side of the world, and they were actually the dominant culture, and they had their own states and so different from each other, and their national anthems, and watching them at the Olympics. And no, instead we have fat people in mobility scooters.
Maybe if it happened earlier, like if Europeans went earlier, it would have been better because we weren't as advanced.
Yeah.
So that maybe they couldn't have done as much damage.
We still would have decimated it. Imagine if the Romans had gas chambers and weapons of World War II capabilities.
Yeah, that would be pretty fucked.
They would have gassed millions. Yeah. Like we always romanticize the Romans. They were hard. They won. They got to write the history.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how they became an empire. Like they declared themselves an empire after they genocided France.
Yeah.
That's a real one. That's a real weird one.
And all that jazz.
Yeah, dodgy cunts. But I meant like more so in like like the Scandinavians went up to Newfoundland.
Yeah.
And they kind of vibed and went home.
Yeah.
Like
the Vikings that settled in Ireland and became part of Ireland and became part of our culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
was this old story. I kind of fell in love with it and then found out it wasn't that true. There's nothing to it besides an old poem. There was like a Welsh prince who went over to who just went sailing off to the west, and they thought like he ended up actually setting up in the States. And because like there was this certain tribe or whatever, and these boats that looked very similar to like ones they had in like 11th century Wales, but
St. Brendan as well, the Irish monk, was supposed to have got there, but they highly doubt it.
Yeah, there's lots of stories of like but that stuff comes out of like claims of our guy got there first, it's ours. Like that's where that came from.
Yeah, and the Vikings got there first because, as you said, they were in Newfoundland. They were, ice and Greenland and down. They didn't get to they got to continental North America. They didn't obviously get to what we consider the United States. So.
Yeah, I guess they have the claim now. Just give the whole thing, states and all, give the Denmark, and we'll be happy.
Well, the Vikings, if you think about it, ended up the dominant culture. They became the dominant culture of the world. Like a few longboats, settled in countries, came back as the Normans, invaded Britain. Then that became the British, the Norman culture in Britain, the Norman culture in France, blah, blah, blah. They all went to North America, invaded, became that, blah, blah, blah. So like the English think they ran the Vikings, but they ended up coming back. And, I always bring it up to English people, like, as a mock when they go like, but we ruled you for 800 years or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, but you still didn't get rid of the Normans. still most of those families own the big estates in England. You know what I mean? They just they decimated their culture. They don't even have their surviving native names. Everyone became Richard and William, and
the remnants of that old culture, like when after the Anglo-Saxons came over. You know that part of France called Brittany?
Yeah.
That's where the Britons went and fled to.
Yeah.
So like,
and like
obviously
Wales and Highland Scots. You know what I mean? A lot of that culture would have been quite similar to the culture, minus the Viking interaction and that.
Yeah. Dude, history's a weird one.
Yeah, it's like your man had a documentary called what was it called, Bastard Nation or Mongrel Nation, and it was about how England, modern England, is a bastardized, hybridized nation of weird amalgamations of cultures. But we all are, aren't we? Really?
I suppose, yeah. But I mean, some places that were isolated, maybe not. I suppose we kind of got everything because of the Brits. But yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
Don't know how the fuck we got here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like the description I was given about Northern Ireland one day, and it was quite funny. Someone said like the whole thing with the Irish is not being English. The whole thing with the Northerners is not being Irish. You know what I mean? So not all Northerners, obviously, but one's on the other side.
Yeah, it's a weird one. The Northern Ireland and Ireland one. Yeah,
we'd definitely go down a rabbit hole there if you.
Oh, good lord! You'd never come back from that.
Yeah.
You ever done a piece on that, or is that too dodgy?
Loads of bits, yeah, I've done loads of bits on that. Yeah, loads of bits on Northern Ireland.
You got balls, man. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Well, I came out on stage in Derry wearing a Rangers top, and I done it in Glasgow as well.
Yeah, so that's yeah, fair play. And how was that received?
Booze and everything, but they laughed because they knew what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I suppose when you come in character as well, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
I still think that's just fucking ballsy. That's seriously ballsy. I couldn't.
No, the ballsiest one is when I got death threats in Limerick, and I went out on stage with a stab-proof vest and a replica 47, and I was like, if someone wants to stab me, do me now.
Fuck.
That was kind of silly. Lots of people are messaging me and ringing me during the day going, is the show cancelled? Are you going to do it? And I was like, damn right I'm going to do it. If I get stabbed on stage, I'll live forever. Fuck it.
There you go, man. That's fucking rough.
Ridiculous.
Imagine that's how it ended. We never got the Paddy Barnes or anything. It was just stabbed on the stage in Limerick.
Yeah, by some little scrot.
Yeah. I'll fucking kill you. Yeah. Fucking weird.
Yeah.
Christ.
I feel like we've come to a natural conclusion, lads.
Yeah, we went full circle from stabbing Paddy to getting stabbed.
Yeah. Fucking there you go. Yeah, I suppose that's all. So just remind everyone about all the charity stuff going on, and if they want to support it, how they can do it.
The link, it'll be GoFundMe Stevo versus Paddy. It'll be found there on Google or whatever, and on my page on Facebook, Sir Stevo Timothy, and Twitter and Instagram and all that. And it's for the Irish Wheelchair Association. And it's myself versus Paddy Barnes, co-main with Conor McGregor versus Al Foran. You're still penciling him in because he didn't say he's not doing it. Then we have Darren Conway, Al Foran, Fabu D, Dylan Moran, not the comedian, the boxer, and loads other like that. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anyone, but loads more like that. So it's going to be a buzz.
The whole shebang, the whole 9 yard, all the lads. And if you want to check out Stevo, I'll have a link below. But yeah, fucking sound out for getting on again, man. It fucking
no problem at all. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure as always, and it's been emotional.
Dude, I guess next time we'll be talking about how you're fighting McGregor next. We'll give that a go. Yeah,
well, that was the kind of thing that was being thrown out there because Al wasn't sure whether he was going to do it, and because McGregor's using a wheelchair and wanted to do it in a wheelchair, then wouldn't it be only appropriate to fight someone who uses a wheelchair? So we'll see how it goes. We might do an exhibition. If he turns up, I'm throwing him in a wheelchair to do an exhibition afterwards. So that's it.
Yeah, solid.
Like I said before, even to get him sitting in a wheelchair beside me in a wheelchair for a photo.
Wouldn't that be
Would show
legendary?
so much solidarity, and he's never done anything like that. So he could make a massive difference by just doing that. Imagine the power he has.
Fuck yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But lads, if you want to go check out Stevo, you know where to find him. Link below. If you want to support the charity, you know what to do. And let's hope the fuck McGregor gets in there. All right. Take it, Andy. Bye bye.